So the only part that I didn't like, they didn't finish the story. You can't say, well, Jesus was a refugee. No, Jesus went back home. Matter of fact, he goes up to Nazareth. Am I being overly sensitive, or I'm just trying to figure out the motives? And I see where people were starting to say that went a little woke. Like, what was the point of that one? To the Not Offended Podcast. It's your boy Anthony. What's going on? This is a Super Bowl Monday hangover right here. Not that type of hangover. Got my boy Bill, the agent. That's right. Got my boy Mike over here. My boy D, known as the Token, and the Bishop. We in the house, guys. Super Bowl hangover. Super Bowl hangover. I was wrong. I said the Eagles were going to win 31-27. Hey, my scores were pretty close, but I was wrong on the outcome. Hats off to Patrick Mahomes. He is now the new Tom Brady. He gets all the calls. And we're in for it now. That's just my opinion. Why are you laughing? I'm serious.
Yeah. Gets all the calls.
How does the Raider Nation feel?
We're good. We say the AFC West is dominant. We've been saying it all along. It's one of the hardest divisions of football to come out. I feel validated. The Raiders playing in the hardest division. That's all there is to it.
I would not say the AFC West is dominant.
We're dominant.
Chiefs won. How about with that?
They've won two in the last, 4 years, 5 years?
You had to bring up Tom Brady. Okay, here's what I woke up feeling like this morning as a Raider fan. I feel like we're going to be the Jets for the next 10 years, bro, in that division.
How dare you?
I know.
How dare you speak such blasphemous words?
I know. It's terrible.
You were moving on. You said the Jets, Jets. Come on. That's horrible, Bill.
Anyways.
Any comments over here? He brought up the Jets. For the love of God, help me out over here.
I was disappointed about the penalty at the end of the game.
Talk to me. Speak on that truth right there.
I just, they say you never want the end of a big game to be decided by the referees or by the umpires or whoever it may be. And
so what do you think happens? Say they don't call that penalty. You think the Chiefs still get a field goal?
They kick, yep.
And then you think the Eagles got a chance to get a field goal?
Yeah. Then the Eagles get the ball back with 2.5 minutes left or something like that. Yeah, that's the way they should have ended.
You think the Chiefs still win at the end of the day, even in overtime? You think they still win?
I think the Chiefs would have won.
Right. So do I.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs would have won, but it's just like it's too bad. Then you got the kid who everybody's going to say, oh, it was his penalty that cost him the game.
And just for the record, just so everybody knows who doesn't really watch football, and you can ask any ref in the game, there's literally a penalty every play. They can literally call a penalty on every play of some sort. There's always something.
Right.
And in this case, that ball was uncatchable. Juju's my dude. I've been watching him since he was at USC. Juju's my guy. He ain't that fast. He was never going to catch that ball. And that little tug, every DB does it. They teach him to do it. Hand fight, do little tugs, do that stuff, grab the arm a little bit. It's every play. Especially on the worst field ever. That was the slipperiest,
that was terrible.
Worst field I've ever seen.
How do you have a bad field and bad footing in a dry place? Whoever
did the lawn got fired yesterday. That was I don't know if they resodded it or what they did. I've never seen that.
But they said they had issues with that in week 1.
How do you have issues in week 1 and you don't get it figured out by the Super Bowl? The biggest stage there is. Anyway, D, what'd you think?
I don't know. Maybe football is just getting soft. People talk about basketball all the time.
Wow.
LeBron James got fouled harder than that. When we always complain about him, throwing a fit. He got fouled harder than that.
Did he really? Did he really?
He always brings it back to basketball.
No, there was no acting yesterday on that foul. There was no acting. We didn't throw ourselves down. We didn't flail like a fish. Woe is me like a novella. We didn't do all that.
But they both at home because they lost.
Who's at home?
LeBron lost.
I was going to say Mahomes ain't home yet.
And the Eagles lost.
And Mahomes ain't home. No, LeBron was hanging out with us last night. That's where LeBron was. Because he was hurt the night before, remember? But he looked okay in the booth. I just want to throw that out.
Oh, he was at the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, he was at the Super Bowl. But the night before, he didn't play because he was hurt.
Yeah, everyone wants to see scoring. Stop hugging them.
What was that?
Everyone wants to see scoring.
It's true.
So stop hugging them.
No. Listen. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm just saying I agree with Mike. You don't want it to end that way. And, to me, it's one of those deals. They kick a field goal. I think Eagles come back. They kick their field goal. I think it goes over. I still think the Chiefs win. I do. The problem I have is this. You don't want the refs to decide the game. And they ought to know better. It was an uncatchable ball. He could have easily came back and said, we waived the penalty off. Uncatchable ball. That's all he had to do. And let them play it out. Heck, I don't even know. Does Mahomes get the first down off the very next play? We don't know. But we know this. Right. It would have been better for ratings. It would have been better for football. Going into overtime with that game? Oh, come on. Everybody would have been salivating over that.
Hey, look, we talked this morning. NFL wins all the time, whether there's controversy, whether it's a great game. We're here talking about this controversy, so they're winning.
They made it through concussions, everything. They're good.
I won't argue that. You're right. They do. I'm just saying, for the fans, though, overtime game like that, nobody would have been mad. Nobody would have been mad. It was a good game. It was really.
Patrick Mahomes get another ring.
Hey,
another black quarterback wins.
Oh, did we solve that?
If it's not basketball, it's black quarterback or black coaches.
Oh, all right, D, we get it. D, you're on the run right now.
It is Black History Month. It is Black. Shout out to Black History Month. Let's go.
Teach us about the black national anthem at the beginning of the game too. Y'all got your own national anthem?
Really? I didn't even see that.
You got it.
Oh, what? You know, man. Okay,
but the black national anthem. I didn't hear the Mexican national anthem. I didn't hear the Indian national anthem. I didn't hear anybody else's.
Like I said before, we're first. I know Mexicans are coming strong.
Hey, we are. We're coming in hot, boy.
They got the numbers, but we're still first.
We're coming in hot.
He's keeping hope alive for you guys.
He's keeping it. Okay.
Yeah.
But Mike, I was gonna say, did we settle if Mahomes was black or white? Did we settle?
I showed my son. I was like, hey, look at you. My son said, no, I don't look like him. I was like, bro, you guys are the same color. And I'm definitely black. And Patrick Mahomes said he was black. He was like, yes, this is a historical moment. Two black quarterbacks.
Okay.
Wow.
I won't send it to you, but I don't want to bother you.
Dude, okay, but if we pull
Well, you compared him to Tom Brady, he gets all the calls, so that might be he's leaning a little white.
That's
60-40. 60-40.
If we get his 23andMe, we're going to break this down percentile. We might see some percentile here. No, I really am happy. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The Mahomes, Andy Reid, Kelsey combination, gosh, it's vicious. They're so good. And listen, you got to have a good head coach quarterback relationship. And that relationship between these two guys is just, I don't know. I think it is. I don't think it's out of the picture or out of the probable scope here that Mahomes in the next 5 to 7 years could win another 1 or 2 Super Bowls. I don't know. Am I overstepping?
How many?
That's a good number.
So Kelsey's. I just looked it up. Kelsey's 33.
Yeah.
Turns 34 next year.
No, he's only got another year or two. He was hurt this year pretty consistently too. Like just nagging injuries as you get older.
Yeah. Okay.
But Mahomes is 30, 29.
Yeah, I think he's in his 20s.
Yeah, he's still.
I think he's
pretty
29.
Young.
Well, he did. I think he did 3 years at Texas Tech. Go Red Raiders. And then he came out and he's been 4 or 5 years in the league. I think he's 28, 29.
27.
Oh
okay.
my goodness.
Is he turning 28 this year then? Yeah. I figured he was somewhere around there.
He has another 10 years.
Yeah, I'd be 28 at the beginning of the next season.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. I think he could get another 1, 2 in the next 5 years.
Oh, in the next 5. Okay.
But the question is Andy Reid.
Right.
He looks
good. Andy needs to come back in those burgers a little bit.
No, he looked like
the
he dropped
ground.
some weight. Andy used to be big, like a big dude. I mean, I'm not saying he's little.
I was going to say.
You said he looked good.
Yeah, you did say he looked good.
I'm saying he looked good compared to how he used to.
Comparatively speaking,
It's good.
What are you guys saying? You just had the biggest grin. Like, he big. The boy's big, boy. He's
look it up. So this is why I compared us to the Raiders to the Jets. Okay,
No!
it sounded like. Yeah, I'm just.
All right, people are tuning out right now.
I know. I'm sorry.
Tell us why.
It sounds like a little bit of Tom Brady, Bill Belichick combination for the next 10 years.
Yeah,
that's fine.
No, hey, I wouldn't argue that.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't argue that.
I feel bad for Josh Allen.
It just came and went.
Because he's gonna be a good quarterback who doesn't win a championship.
He's got to come out of that AFC. Yeah, yesterday. Listen, for all fairness, yesterday had the feeling of this was going to be the league of Josh Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, like this. You remember what was it? We went. Sorry, we're gonna get off the football in just a second, but hear me out. It was either a Roethlisberger or a Manning that was always in a Super Bowl, or a Brady. Excuse me. It was Brady, Manning, or Roethlisberger always in a Super Bowl, and everybody else was just playing second fiddle. I mean, it just we have I have that feeling that's going to this postseason this year. It's going to be a Burrows, it's going to be an Allen, it's going to be a Hurts, it's going to be a Mahomes, and everybody else is just trying to get lucky. You know, just have a good run. Yep. It was good football. It was good football. Okay, so on the Super Bowl, but not on the Super Bowl, there was some ads, and the ads that were making a lot of heads turned was "He Gets Us," put on by an anonymous organization that spent millions. 2 ads during the Super Bowl. Not quite sure. I think they did a little bit of an analysis, and there's somewhere out there they spent 50 to 100 mil on these ads to be played, and it kind of has stirred up the Christian community. And we got people fighting over here and arguing about the ads. Are they woke? Are they not woke? Did you guys get to see the ads, and do you have any thoughts on those? Like them, not like them? Can you see both perspectives? Where are you guys at on that? Who wants to chime in?
I was good with them.
Did you have one that stood out to you that you liked?
One of them I liked a lot because it's the music. I forgot which one it was. Oh, the one we like
the violence one.
The violence one. Yeah, I just like the music more than anything.
I like the kid one. The kid one was cool.
That was good.
Yeah, we should love each other. We should love each other. You know, even our differences, we should love each other. That's fine.
The violence one was about
Jesus loves our enemies.
Do
Jesus loves people we hate? Yeah.
Same thing. Jesus loves those who we hate, and Jesus loves our enemies. What'd that make you think?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I didn't think nothing. I was like, man, I like that song.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, the statement's true. Jesus loves our, people we hate. He does love them.
Yeah, I mean, the ads weren't like thought provoking to me. They were like, man, I'm glad I'm watching that instead of like some inappropriate commercials.
That's true.
That's true.
That's kind of the way I looked at it. It didn't be like, man, I should follow Jesus now. It was more like, man, I'm really glad they're putting that up and putting their money towards that than, demonic Rihanna and all her stuff. Like,
we're going, okay, I wasn't going to talk about the halftime show, but we may get there. Bill, what'd you think about
Yeah, I didn't mind them. I think there was a little shift on the commercials from like 2 years ago where it was like super woke.
You're okay?
And then they kind of went the other way a little bit.
Okay.
Where they kind of maybe brought it back to the middle. And so I was okay with them.
Well, since you said that, there was a video, and this is where I think a little bit of the feeling of wokeness came in, or, like they were a little bit more progressive. There was a video during the playoffs of clearly a South American. I don't want to say Mexican because not everybody from South America is Mexican. I know we all get lumped in together, but we're not.
Central and South America.
There you go, Central and South America. So there was this one about Jesus being a refugee, and they have this woman doing a voiceover, and, Jesus had to flee his country and all this. The thing that I didn't like is there was a motive behind that. And they just won't say what the motive is. Some people are saying, well, they wanted to get people to think about things. But at the end of the day, if you follow the story, Jesus only went down to Egypt for a few years and then he went back home. So is the motive, hey, you guys come over for a little bit and now you need to go back home? Are we completing the full story? So is that what you want to? This is the Not Offended podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Want to encourage everybody to like. I encourage everybody to share, leave a comment, especially those of you who constantly like to attack us and tell us we don't know what we're talking about. Hey, get your own podcast. But you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, or you can just keep watching us on YouTube. It's up to you. But thank you. It's Not Offended podcast. You like that part? They can get their own podcast. Matter of fact, you can get Jake, our engineer, over here, or you can go after Ethan, our other engineer, and they'll be sure to help you out with your own podcast where you can spread your misinformation. Okay, so the only part that I didn't like, they didn't finish the story. You can't say, well, Jesus was a refugee. No, Jesus went back home. Matter of fact, he goes up to Nazareth. Am I being overly sensitive, or I'm just trying to figure out the motives? And I see where people were starting to say that went a little woke. Like, what was the point of that one? Anybody?
Yeah.
In your perspective, of course, what was the point?
I don't know. I didn't see the commercial.
Okay.
I just don't like it when you put your own Jesus into, you make Jesus whatever you want it to be. Right, and you just call it palatable G. You make it, hey, he's just love, so he is everything.
Love is love, Bill. What's wrong with love is love?
I don't like that. Like, what's the motive behind it? And you can't tell the story of your own Jesus without, pointing back to the gospel.
Okay.
Right. And so if you're going to tell about Jesus, then point him to the gospel type thing. So
what do you guys say to that? You agree, disagree, or are we on the sensitive side over here?
Man, or maybe we're just not deep thinkers over here. We just, whatever.
Well, baseball, basketball. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The deep thinkers are on this side. Okay.
I don't know if anybody ever classified football players as deep thinkers. Maybe deep thinkers because they forgot some stuff. I don't know. I was thinking about the.
You guys saw that one, right?
Yeah, I watched that right before this, and I think there is a segment of kind of far right Christians who want nothing to do with immigration, right?
Okay.
And I think that maybe that they were trying to spur conversation for them.
Okay.
If you watch it, I don't like the fact that they really wasn't addressing like any immigrant.
Right.
I didn't see anybody who looked like they were coming over from India, which is a lot of people.
Yeah, it's true.
I didn't see anybody who was coming over from any other Asian country.
But the big argument right now in our country is people coming across the border from Mexico.
Yeah, but it's not just Mexicans.
Well,
No. But that's the big issue that people keep talking about.
Okay,
right now.
real quick. What other border are they supposed to come from? Canada? Nobody would argue that.
You're saying that is the argument. That is the big thing
I
we're talking
know,
about.
but I'm just pushing back on you to say what? You're going to have Canadians come over? They're all white.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're.
In other words, they'll blend in a lot easier. That's all I'm saying.
What Deshaun's saying is the majority of people coming over are coming from a certain region.
No, I'm saying in the news, that's the border that's talked about. So that's the one they're addressing.
I'm still trying to.
I don't hear anyone on the news talking about the Canadian border.
Because even if they, here's what I'm saying. Even if they came over, how would you know? Okay, let me give it to you in a story real quick. So I'm at a different church. I'm hanging out with this dude, and he's a German immigrant. Okay? Has a German accent. You can tell. I know it to be a German accent. I don't know if most people would know it. And him and I were chuckling about him getting his green card. He hadn't gotten his green card yet. And so we were laughing about that. I go, bro, I'm like fourth generation. I don't need a green card. And we're laughing. And I walk home because I had walked to, we had a park over at this church. And I was walking home from the park and I thought, this is ironic. Nobody would ever look at him and question whether or not he has a green card. But they would look at me, and if they didn't know me, they'd question whether or not I had a green card. That's just where we live. So I'm saying, even if there was, what I'm pushing back on is, even if there was this type of border problem from Canada, I still don't think you would have this type of heat. The heat is coming only because it's Central and South America coming up, but people coming in from other places through Central and South America because the borders down there are bringing in a lot of drugs. They're bringing a lot of gang activity. We all know this. We live in the Central. I mean, we know this. So I think this is complex. That's my whole point. It's more complex than a 30-second video.
No, but I think that's what. So on the news, no one's talking about the Canadian border.
Correct.
They're talking about that border. So why would they talk about that one and address the one everyone's talking about? You address the one everyone's talking about.
I'm just pushing back and telling you.
No, I'm saying you address the one that's on the news, not the one everyone's not talking about.
No, but if it was flipped, we wouldn't talk about it. That's
I agree, but it's not. So it's like, don't talk about what the border no one's talking about. Talk about the border people are talking about.
No, but what? What was the desired outcome from that video? That's what I'm asking. What's the desired outcome?
No, I don't know their motives, but my assumption is.
Go ahead, give me your perception and assumption.
They want people just to look at immigration and care for people.
Look at immigration and care for them how?
I don't know. That's the part I don't know what they're.
Okay, so we're going to spend millions of dollars in an ambiguous ad to literally leave people perplexed and baffled.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good ad, but that's what they're just wanting to do.
So then, how does that lead people to Jesus?
I don't think it does.
Okay.
Hey, buddy gets us.
Okay, well, we just been round and round for 7 minutes.
Oh, they didn't consult me.
I told stories and everything. I told stories and everything. We got nowhere. That was good. This is the Not Offended podcast.
Yeah.
We lead you to nowhere, okay? That's how we do it. We're the Jets, apparently. We're the Jets.
I told you from the last ad. The only thing I like was the music. I was like, I told you already.
You were very adamant about that. Yes, yes. What were we gonna say?
I don't know.
You're just as perplexed over there.
Yeah, now I'm lost. Well, I do.
Maybe that's his point, is to get us all lost in this thing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with
Yeah.
what both of you guys are saying. I think they want people to have a conversation about it, but it doesn't get you anywhere.
It did. Okay.
And so what? So I think a lot of people will read that, or excuse me, watch that, and go, "That's right. That's right. We should have open borders. That's right. We should just let everybody in. Jesus was a refugee."
Right.
You're not gonna let Jesus in? You're right. Yeah.
So I think that's what I think that's what the left would
Jesus
say.
got a green card. Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at that. Jesus. No, we have dual citizenship with Israel. He'd be fine. He wouldn't need it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Okay. Don't you listen? I feel like most people are flummoxed about this. We don't know where to go. So here's my point in this. What really pisses me off, and I mean deeply to the core of whom I am, nobody in Congress wants to fix the immigration problem.
That is 100% true.
Because if you did, you'd have no platform to run on. All these woke, progressive Christians, Democrats, all these people would have nothing to run on if they fixed it. It's a simple. Okay, Yasiel Puig. He's a Cuban baseball player who defected. Do you know how easy it was for him to get immigration? To get his green card? 2 fastest ways you can get literally welcomed in any country. You guys want to take a guess at the 2 fastest ways?
You pay.
Number 1, you rich. Wu-Tang Clan knew what they were talking about. Cream, cash rules everything around me. That's it. If you rich, they gonna let you in. Anybody want to take a stab at number 2?
Employer.
Be good at something, especially sports.
Yeah, sports, tech, something like that. They could pay it off.
Just be good. I don't know how y'all see it got covered so quickly. Well, he was good. Well, he was at the time. He was good.
He just had to escape the sharks in Cuba, and
That's it.
And he went to Mexico.
Once he got his foot on dry ground, it was a game over. That's all I'm saying. We don't want to fix immigration. That's why I don't like these ads. If I'm being real, I don't like that ad because you're just exploiting people who can't help themselves, and you got a broken Congress who will never fix anything because they have no political talking points. It's all hyperbole. It's all whack. It's just all garbage. Nobody wants to fix it. So you ask, well, what do believers do? Believers vote the right people in who will fix it. Nah, but that's just too complicated because they're too busy kissing butt to people who tell them what they want to hear. And progressive ideologies get you nowhere, period. That's all I got to say about that.
All right.
All right. That's how I felt about that. I did like the other one with the 2 kids were hugging each other and that was good. This felt good.
Yeah.
Like we need to love people. And that's the truth. It's true. It's true. Hey, Valentine's.
So open the border.
What was that?
So open the border.
So open the border so we all hug each other?
Yeah.
Go ahead. No. You want to throw it? Go ahead. What's that look like if we open that up?
I have no idea. I don't believe it. I'm just messing with you.
Don't take the bait, Pastor. Don't take the bait.
He almost got me.
Yeah, don't
He
take
almost
the
got
bait.
me. He almost got me.
He's just messing with it.
So I have something I wanted to ask you guys last week. I apologize. I didn't get to it. And then I just have to ask this. This is going to get us into trouble, but I have to ask it.
Oh, man.
Have to ask it. So for the last week, right? So all of last week, everybody kept talking about the Grammys. Okay. Why are Christians supporting this? Why was Maverick City there on stage with Quavo? All this stuff.
They need Jesus too. That's why.
Yeah, all this stuff. Can I just say this? So
he's just saying stuff.
Yeah,
right now.
he's being antagonistic.
I believe that one.
Okay, we're gonna get to this.
Maverick City. Yeah. Anyway.
No. I agree that Maverick City needs Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were trying to say Maverick City was giving everybody else Jesus.
Oh no, Maverick City needs Jesus.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. See. Keep going.
Okay, Maverick City needs Jesus. Okay, here's where I was going with this. You had all these Christians, okay, on Facebook, and so obviously people I know around here mad at the Grammys when we had 72 weeks of it across the street.
Yeah. I think people only care about
I'm upset. That's what they do. Type. I'm upset.
Send.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that.
Send. Shame on you.
Are you available
Send.
for our next men's breakfast though? Send. Looking for a great speaker, led by the Spirit. Not sure which one, but are you available?
Send.
Send.
Any spirit will do.
Any spirit will do. What were we gonna? Sorry, bro. What were we gonna say?
Man.
Where did we go with this?
Listen, I think people only care about certain things, and they don't care about it unless it's in their front doorstep.
Grammys wasn't at the front doorstep.
but there people are talking about it now. I think we had gotten protested for that many weeks, but they didn't really experience it.
But the front doorstep, I think that they start to look at media as though it is, right? So like Disney,
Sure.
People got all hot and bothered about Disney because
we had half naked people dressed up across the street.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect you if you live in Clovis. It doesn't affect you if you go to Cross City Church. It don't affect you. But Disney, your kid pressing play on a Disney, Disney Plus subscription does because it's on your TV in your living room. So I think that's what. So when they see entertainment, they go, okay, entertainment is bleeding into our home.
Okay.
It's bleeding into maybe what my kids are thinking, what my kids are listening to. But when it comes to what we went through, no, they don't care. They don't care. For a fact, they don't care.
We think, Bishop.
I'm not sure. I'm not putting the two together.
People were all upset about the Grammys. Sam Smith and his little demonic little orgy fest he had going on, and Maverick City was there. They didn't walk out. They didn't comment. They didn't say, hey, that was all wrong. That was bad. Yet they get on stage. They perform with Quavos. They receive the award with Quavo. All this stuff. They're hanging out with all these secular people. Yeah. So all these church people were upset. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. There's a total agenda. What's the church doing? I said, well, we had 72 weeks of that across the street. Nobody complained.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people here locally don't want to deal with it because it might end up on their front door in terms of us. So there's people who are churches right around the corner, but they didn't want those same people to come after them. So they're going to stay quiet because whether it be, I mean, I don't know them, so I'm not going.
And you have believers who came out and said that it was our fault. Like that, all that stuff was our fault.
It's like a poke in the eye with the sharp stick.
Like a poke in the eye.
Yeah, there it is. Poke in the eye. Poke him in the eye.
Yeah. That guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
And a coward.
Yeah. Poke him in the eye, Deshaun. you being you is poking him in the eye. I would have done something different. What would you have done there, Bob? What would you have done? Just curious. Yeah, anyway. So moving right along, I had to get that. I just thought it was interesting. I'm sitting here watching all these people, like you said, sin, and it's like, dude, you're soft. You're soft. And here's the truth of the matter. Truth of the matter is, it is coming to your doorstep. Footnote. You over here worried about Chinese spy balloons. There's this agenda happening, and it's coming to a school near you. It's coming towards your kids. It's going to be everywhere, and you're still worried about a spy balloon. Okay. That's great.
I kept thinking, this is almost like, I was thinking, like, this is imaginary. Like, this. Is this really happening? At some point, I was thinking this last week. I'm like, man, this isn't going anywhere.
What's that?
Like this whole trans agenda, getting into the schools, it's going to affect you at some point. Like, be right in your face. You have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just hit me.
Okay.
Yes, at some point, I'm going to have to make a serious decision.
It hit me like 52 weeks ago.
Well, here's what
I'm talking about.
What was his name? Was his name Maverick too? What was the dude that got mad at me because I said we're reclaiming masculinity? What was his name? Maris.
Merrick.
Merrick. I made that dude. Hey, I made that dude famous again. He got so mad.
His picture and his eyes going this way.
He got so mad. When I said, bro, I just researched you. Nobody read any of your articles until you put my name in it. Oh, what are you trying to say? I said, you owe me money. Like, I made you relevant again. I can't believe you would say such a thing. Well, it's true. I called him, I didn't know his name. I called him Maris or something. I didn't know his name. And he goes, that's not my name. And I go, bro, I don't know your name. I don't even know who you are. I've never read one of your articles, except for the one you wrote at me. Then the guy tells me, let's have a man-to-man conversation. I'm like, what? You just told me I can't talk like that. And then you tell me, are you scared? I'm like, what? Man-to-man. I don't know what people, I don't know. What that guy, whatever his name is. Anyway, what were you going to say? Sorry, I just thought that was funny.
Well, so for us, right, we experienced it for this time. So my question to us is, if what Deshaun is saying is right, if it's here to stay, and we're one of the first ones maybe to experience it around in town, I believe we're better equipped. We're going to be better equipped when it's fully here, right? And so what do we do as Adventure Church? How do we lead the way in this? And I think
it's matching tattoos. I told you so.
No,
okay.
I'm not getting that tattoo. I'm too close to 50. I got to start thinking about what I'm going to do because stuff's going to start to fade or sag or something. I got to start thinking this through. You guys are all young. I'm the old man, so I have to think this through. So it leads me to this. This is the Not Offended podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We talk about culture and its influence on the church. Like, comment, subscribe, send it to somebody. I know everybody was asking me for the link last week about men. We're going to get back to talking about how to raise boys to men. We're going to get back to maybe, if not next week, the following week. But thank you for all your comments. I just got to. So I read an article out of Christian News. And it was on a reel that Jake sent me, and it talked about a study they did about what pastors believe. So you have the orthodoxy, you have the tenets of faith, and I like to say the essentials, and the essentials, unity, the non-essentials, liberty. And so the essentials being Jesus, born of a virgin, died and paid for sins, and then resurrected. The essentials, one man, one woman, the essentials, two genders, the essentials. Come to find out that they dug a little deeper and they asked how many pastors preach on these things and tell people to apply them. So on the essentials, the number was good. 75% Orthodox Church. Yes, we all agree on this. But when it came to teaching, preaching, and applying, it dropped down to less than 5%.
Whoa.
Are we in trouble?
Yeah.
Do you feel we could? I think you and I talked about this. We can make numbers say what we want numbers to say. I realize that you can skew some stats,
but it's
after,
5.
Okay, that's what I was saying. After everything
15,
we went through,
it's still
After everything we went through, do you think those stats are shallow, or do you think there might be some veracity, some validity to that? What would you guys say?
Yeah, well, I think that even if you give it some points, you're still in trouble.
Go ahead. What you mean? Go ahead.
So let's say it's really not 5%.
10.
Let's say it's 20.
Okay, 20.
I think you're still in trouble because of the how inundated we are with the other messages. Like if you're not countering those messages at all, you're talking about 8 out of 10 churches not countering that message. That's tough. That's really tough.
What do you think? You think those numbers are?
No, I think it's possible. You see it, the effects of it in our culture. You see the effects of it in people who claim they're Christians are still getting divorced, still living a certain way. That things are getting called out.
Okay.
I see it as I talk to people. Man, I think maybe last week, talking to a few people about FPU came up, the Christian school here in town, college here in town, and how they don't believe the Bible. Well, a lot of them don't believe the Bible. Mm-hmm. I know I ran into a few professors that were good. But a lot of them are like, man, I ain't taking anything I learned from there, from biblical studies. Like some of the other stuff I learned about the profession was good, but the biblical studies are like, they don't know their Bible and they don't teach it. And they don't teach it correctly. So, that's what people are being taught. They're getting their MDiv there. It's like, well, so what? I know you went to school. I don't care if you're MDiv.
Right, true. Yeah, I'm not worried about the initials. I'm worried about, do you know the Bible?
Yeah.
What do you think, Bill? You brought up a good point. That's scary, even if you add some numbers.
I like to look at this as a kind of an organization, right? Or on the business sense. If 80%, you talk about the essentials, right? It should be like 80% really of the core of who you are.
Okay.
If you're only selling 5% of your product on 80% of the core who you are, your business is in trouble.
That's a good point.
That's kind of how I look at it, and it's failing.
You said if we look at the culture, even in the church, we're obviously, it's what you just said. What you just said is validated by what we see in the church culture. So I led us here for this reason because I think this is a concern. I don't think most people know what their church believes. They don't know what their pastor believes. They're just bimbling along. I didn't call them bimbos. I said bimbling along, which just means the da-di-da, Life is good. My kid likes the children's ministries. Well, that's great. Little Susie's happy. But this is where I think you got full-on charismatic people who believe in the gifts of the Spirit, and they're over there at legalistic Baptist churches. How does that even work? You got people who are Baptists at full-blown charismatic churches. And they don't even sign off on either or. But it's because they don't know what their own church believes. They don't even know what their own pastor believes. You might have a pastor who really doesn't see anything wrong with gay marriage. You might have a pastor who doesn't see anything wrong with using pronouns, him, him, her, they, them, their. That just sounds demonically like influence there where you have several names for yourself. That just could be me. But I'm just saying, like, bro, they don't know what their pastor even believes. They don't even know if their pastor has courage. It's like we got these flippant statements out there. Faith over fear. What does that mean? Fear is not the opposite of faith. Doubt is. Fear is courage. I mean, if you're looking for opposites, but let's buy that. No, it's just, you think it looks good on a sweater. But we have a bunch of believers. I think the stats are seriously true. This is what's concerning. I don't know. I just feel like, just in my opinion, like you need to find out what your church believes.
Well, I think a problem you might run into is people don't know what they believe that go to church. They can't even ask the right question. I think you're giving people a lot of credit.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a shepherd. I'm trying to give sheep some credit here. Thanks, Sean. So go ahead. You're raining on my parade over here. What are you saying?
Well, I think that's why people just are back and forth. That's why they're okay not coming to church, or okay, do we need to go to church? Like, just they don't even know. They don't know what they believe. They don't know what to stand on.
So we want to feel good gospel?
Yeah, and the problem with it is that it never had a good pastor. So it's sort of a fault of whoever's leading them, but they don't even know where to go or what to believe.
Okay. Mike, what do you...
my church experience is probably the most limited amongst us. So how do they go about doing that? Like, what would you advise?
Listen, first things first, you got to get in your Bible.
No, but as far as like knowing what your church believes.
Well, you can go on anybody's website. They'll give you a tenets of faith. And if you have questions about the tenets of faith, listen, I know people who are full-blown charismatics. And there are churches that do not believe in the gift of healing. There are churches who do not speak in tongues. There are churches that don't even believe in women in ministry. Why are you there?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. What attracted you to your church?
Yeah, and why? I mean, how do you choose your church? Like,
okay. I guess how I'm seeing this, and I could be totally wrong. It's like I love seafood, but I'm at a steakhouse where they have no seafood and they never will.
But maybe they're nice to me.
Oh, okay. So when are you gonna get to experience the things that you believe so radically in? Can't do it in a small group because they don't want it in their small groups. In other words, what I'm saying is you'll never be fully connected to that church because they don't believe in what you believe.
Right, and I think that it kind of just goes into that consumer mentality of, well, if it feels good, then I'll settle.
Right.
Just settle. I'll just be here.
Then the charismatic movement didn't make an indelible impression on you.
No,
I can't just settle. There are times I need to pray in tongues, and there are times when I'm sick, I'm asking for a healing. Somebody said, "Well, what made you believe in healing? Sick people around me." Well, they didn't like my answer, but it was my answer. I don't know why people don't like my answer sometimes. It's still my answer. They look at me like I'm going to change my mind. I told them, hey, just wait till one of your family members gets cancer. You believe in healing.
Sure. I think I was sharing something with Mike this past week. Family friend who's believing now for a close family member, who got sick. So we're praying about it. But yeah, I mean, get to know what you believe in. I think essentially, but again, it goes back to asking the right questions. Why am I attending this church, and what's church doing for me? Well,
I think there's even a problem with that. Saying, what is the church doing for me?
But I'm saying, why am I here?
That's what I would ask. Yeah. Like, what does this church believe?
Yeah.
What does this church believe? Where does it stand on certain XYZ issues? And it's got to have a biblical perspective from it.
I mean, I know from doing youth ministry that there's a lot of people who will just go wherever their kids like to go.
Should we be making that decision for our kids?
Say it again?
In other words, should we be basing where we go just because our kids say so?
No. No, I mean, well, some people do it.
Okay.
But I think I think it's terrible parenting.
Okay. Explain.
So it's a slippery slope. So then do you only go where they want to eat?
What if you have multiple kids? And multiple kids want to go to multiple places?
Then you got to go to every single one.
Oh, you in trouble.
It just keeps on going.
You doing that for your kids?
Going to different places to eat?
No. What are you hearing over there?
No,
man.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking. So why do people choose a certain church? Should they care about the worship? Should they care about even how the pastor preaches? Should they care about the kids ministry?
Okay, give me what you feel. Let's do this. Give me what you feel is the number one.
What's the question? What's the number one thing they should care about?
No, let's ask you. What is your number one demarcation? What is the number one thing you're looking for if you're looking for a church? Go ahead.
I don't know. I've been here for a long time. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know.
What would you be looking for? You go look for somebody who preaches the word?
Yeah.
Knows the Bible?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Number one thing is, preaching. Yeah.
What you going for?
Yeah. Somebody who's going to help me grow.
So do you care about the style?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if I can learn, like, I would rather somebody who's like biblically sound and is making sure that I'm not just like a wishy-washy believer.
Okay.
Rather than somebody who goes up there every week and
so doctrine matters to you guys.
Doctrine matters.
Yeah, it can be super emotional if you're yelling a lot.
Oh man, I
don't want to be yelled at.
I hate being yelled at.
My parents ain't yell at me. I didn't get in trouble. I'm not used to it. I don't want to be yelled at. I ain't gonna be yelled at.
So Mike Todd and Stephen Furtick are out for you?
I'm good.
Mike Todd, Stephen Furtick.
Well, they got other issues, but
yeah, true. Yeah,
especially Mike Todd.
Oh. Okay, hold on. Okay, Bill, what are you going for? Give me what do you?
I don't support that black preacher.
That card does not work with you?
No.
Okay. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky.
He's starting.
Yeah, he's starting to get it over here. It's good. It's good.
I'll tell you why I came here.
Okay, there you go.
I was invited by you to come to a marriage conference.
Oh, there we go.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what initially got me here, but that's not why I stayed. Right? I stay because of family, community, and the preaching, you guys, we stand firm on some biblical things, right? Doctrinal things. We don't veer off to the way left or right or so. And so, but what got me here was what was happening in my personal life at the moment.
Right. So let me flip it, and we'll write out on this Not Offended podcast, talking about culture and its influence in the church. Talk about culture. Music is the number one influencer in culture. Music, through its abilities to tell stories and put them over dope beats or even tranquil beats, it gets you to pay attention. It tells you the story you want to hear. That's why you could be humming a song that is completely foul, but you're like, I can't get that out of my head, and it's not a good song. It has a way to penetrate your soul. This is just my assessment. I think 8 out of 10 believers, I think it's in the 80 percentile at least, choose a church by the worship.
It's all about that emotion.
But do you think convince me I'm wrong?
I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah, people love it.
No, I'm saying convince me if I'm like. Do you think I'm wrong?
We have gone to churches and the worship's been bad, and we have not wanted to go back. In one of those instances, I thought the word was really good that night. Mm-hmm. But man, it was just so like. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, I can't do that for 20 minutes every week.
So I tricked this. That means we're part of the problem.
Oh, I'm okay with not having great worship. It don't bother me.
Okay.
Real how I grew up. I don't care.
Okay.
Do I prefer it? I prefer it.
Yeah, you have told me on more than one occasion, just put the piano up there. That's all we need. Just piano. Get him, do the piano.
Certain
good.
songs, shoot. That's good.
Yeah.
Do I prefer our worship? Without a doubt.
Yeah, our worship's good.
I do.
So this is why I put the emphasis on what are we singing? Are these songs doctrinally correct? Do these songs have lyrics that are biblical? Do these songs have lyrics that are thought-provoking, that lead us to the feet of Jesus, that leads us in a time of fellowshipping with him who paid the price for our souls? That's the question. That's why I'm always like, hey, and this could be a hot popular worship song. I'm like, we're not singing that. Because there's nowhere in there that leads you to Jesus. And this is what I tell people all the time. You may go to a church where people sing good, but they're not anointed. They have not paid the price at the feet of Jesus, getting into his presence. They cannot lead you to the presence of Jesus because they haven't been there. They don't know the way because they haven't been there. They can sing good. That's great. Chris Stapleton sung amazing last night. That was a great national anthem. That was freaking amazing. Everybody was moved to church. That's wonderful. America, hashtag it. End of the day, is it anointed? You know it's anointed because you walk in one way and you walk out another. You feel the very presence of God come and take the yoke off you, or come and liberate you, or come and free you. Right now in churches across America, you just got good singers. You don't got nobody getting free. You don't got nobody getting to the feet of Jesus to get transformed. It just makes you feel good. I don't need to feel good. I need to be changed. Because the old Anthony needs to perpetually die on a daily basis. Bottom line. So I don't care if you got good guitar players, great drummers, and guys who can tickle the ivories really well. If you want to do all that, go to a freaking concert. Love James was just here, by the way. Shout out Key Sweat, right? My point is that you can get that. You can get that. Well, I just saw so many people from our church there. There's so many people from our church that I just shout out Key Sweat, you know what I mean? But no, we come to church, we want worship. We want people who've prayed up, fasted up, and prepared by asking the Holy Spirit what songs we're supposed to sing this weekend.
So does anointed worship sound good?
It can. And there's times even our best singers have hit a wrong note and it doesn't matter. We played the wrong chords and it don't matter. We do our best, but our best isn't to impress the people who are out there. Our best is that our fragrance offerings would go before the heavens and be pleasing unto him who saved our souls. If our hearts aren't in the right place, then why sing? Go get your heart right and then come back out here. That's why we do a devotional before we go up. That's why we have a plaque that says, Lord, thank you for choosing us. We're going to give our best today. May our hearts be right before you. Man, you got to be careful of the people who chase those bright lights and big platforms. You got to be careful. Forget it. Revival starts in the heart. And I think people need to recognize that. You got believers out there just going to a church. Listen to me. And I'm not trying to be, I don't want to sound, it's going to sound negative. I'm doing my best not to sound negative. What I'm saying is, we have believers out there who are frustrated. Please hear my heart. They're frustrated because their church may say they have orthodoxy, but they lack orthopraxy. In other words, they're saying they believe in this, but they don't stand up for anything or walk it out. Orthopraxy. But yet they're just mesmerized by the gifted singers, the gifted communicator. They're mesmerized by the big stage, the bright lights, and great children's classrooms. But your soul has parasites because you're not detoxing. And the only way you get that is in the presence of God through anointed teaching that literally challenges you to change you. It tests you to transform you. And I think believers are just getting frustrated. And it's like, you don't even know what your pastor believes. Well, half of them can't even get a meeting with their pastor, so they're not going to know. So get together with your assistant pastors. You need to find out. But gentlemen, the day of reckoning is coming. Sheep need to realize that ain't grass sheen, that's artificial turf. And it hits different, especially when you're put under the pressure of fire. It's going to hit different.
Yeah.
You're going to be malnourished. This has been the Not Offended podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We talk about culture and its influence on the church. Y'all, you need to like, share, comment. You need to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple's iTunes. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next week, and we're out. Peace.